So why do we do strategic planning? Well, the real question is, why do we do intentional strategic planning? Because whether we like it or not, we do strategic planning all the time. Strategic planning in its original form just means that we think something through strategically. And that's going to happen in every committee meeting, every group where 3 or more are gathered, every group where you have some people standing around talking about what their committee is going to do or what their board is going to do. It's going to happen. The reason we enter into an intentional strategic planning process is so that we can make sure that those plans are actually in line for the larger goal, that are actually achieving the larger mission and leading us towards the bigger vision for the organization. It's alignment of all of those efforts. So when we say, why should we do a strategic planning process, or why are they making me do a strategic planning process, we really should think of it more in terms of what can we gain from doing this? And we're going to go through that here shortly. First thing I want to introduce you to is the roller coaster. And some of you may be familiar with this already. It's put together by Stephen Haynes of the Haynes Center for Strategic Management. So if you look on your screen, you'll see here's the different state of going through this change process. We can prepare for it, then deal with the inevitable shock and denial. People that are entrenched in the current system that have a lot to gain from it staying the same way or are simply afraid of change. Then we have some acceptance that loss is a given. Anger, depression, and we really do need to acknowledge these things. Even though the loss may need to happen, there is listening, there is empathizing, and there is explaining, not in a defensive way, but in an informative way. If we fail to do this, we will have perpetual backlash. So we'll get to that when we get into phase 3. Then there's the hang-in point, where everybody's kind of accepted it. Some people are happy, some people aren't, but we kind of know we're going there, and we push forward and develop the plans and pull through. Then we have the hope and readjustment. You get a lot of buy-in at this point. People are more involved, participating in it, and then we start to rebuild. We delegate, we monitor, we process feedback, and we continue this process. Now, one thing that's often overlooked in the strategic planning process is phase 3, which is the implementation, the developing of partnerships, integrating your strategic plan into your communications, fundraising, and development, monitoring it, managing it, revisiting and revising it. I think one of the most common outcomes of a strategic plan is we have a dust collector on a bookshelf, or a file that never gets opened on a computer hard drive in this day and age, I guess. But that's not what a strategic plan is for. A strategic plan should be a living document, a document that guides the processes that go on within a faith community. And those strategic plans that end up being written and then set away, or maybe we quote the vision or quote the mission, you may be familiar with that. We quote the vision, we quote the mission, maybe we print it on the back of an order of service and call it a day. That's not how a strategic plan should live. A strategic plan should have living, breathing parts that engage every aspect of congregational life, faith community life. And it'll help us get through this roller coaster ride that we're doing. Absent a strategic plan, those same conversations in those committees, within those unofficial groups that have power, informal power, within the boards, decisions are going to be made. They're going to be strategic. They may be competing, but they will be made. And it's our decision, usually when we start seeing things happening, to say, okay, let's have some intentionality as an organization-wide being to really kind of put these all in the same direction, to have some benchmark, some directional North Star to guide. And that's what this is intended to do. So that's really why we do intentional strategic planning.